there. I'm Leah, and I'm going to tell you a story about a couple of classmates who are struggling in their role as a student. Jane is so excited to be a first-year OTD student at Boston University. She just graduated from Zoom University in 2022, and she couldn't be more excited to be in the entry-level OTD program. Right before school started, Jane bought all of her school supplies, including colorful pens, highlighters, notebooks, and sticky notes. She felt super prepared for her classes to begin. Although Jane was a little nervous, she was confident she had the right tools to accomplish her dream of becoming a pediatric occupational therapist. Halfway into the semester, Jane is struggling to keep up with the neuroanatomy material. She constantly finds herself unable to find the motivation to review the slides each week. As soon as she gets open the document, she instantly gets overwhelmed at the amount of information. She often tells herself, "I'll get to it this weekend," only to keep pushing it off to another time. The neuro midterm is coming up in a few weeks, and Jane doesn't know what to do. Jane loves to wind down and watch some Netflix, especially the show Drive to Survive. But she never has the time to watch it. Whenever her friends meet to discuss the previous night's episode, she isn't able to join in. She needs to find a way to get her studying done and enjoy her favorite things. Without an answer, Jane will be doomed.
3 days later.
Oh my God, Jane, what's wrong? You look upset.
I just can't find motivation to study neuroscience. I have a huge exam coming up in a few weeks, and I just can't find the motivation or will to do it. I don't know what to do at this point. I have no options.
Oh my gosh, I understand. Have you tried positive reinforcement?
No, what's that?
Well, positive reinforcement is a technique where a stimulus occurs that increases the likelihood of a behavior occurring again. So that stimulus could be a reward, token, praise. Even though Jane thinks she doesn't deserve to set aside time for things she enjoys, Jane realizes that she deserves to treat herself for her hard work. In order to use positive reinforcement, Jane sets a timer on her phone and reviews an hour's worth of neuroscience material just after dinner.
1 hour later.
After the hour is done, Jane sits back, relaxes, and turns on her favorite Netflix show, Drive to Survive. By rewarding herself with the TV show, Jane is more likely to engage in a study routine consistently each and every night. Amy is also a first-year OTD student at Boston University. After attending undergraduate school in California, Amy decided to take a leap of faith and move all the way across the country to Boston. Although her main priority is her role as a student, Amy loves hanging out with her friends and going out and doing things. She also loves documenting them all on her social media accounts. Since Amy attended undergraduate school in California, many of her friends and family still live there.
Much later.
Amy's trying to do her homework, but she keeps looking at her phone. So I decided to give her a FaceTime call. Hey Amy, what's up?
I keep trying to do my homework, but every time I go to do it, I keep getting distracted by my phone.
Okay, have you heard of negative reinforcement? It can help combat your distractibility.
No, what is that?
Okay, so negative reinforcement is the removal or avoidance of a stimulus that would increase the likelihood of a behavior occurring. So for example, after a patient would undergo surgery, they could take pain medication, and the pain medication would act as a negative reinforcement because it would remove the stimulus, which is in this case pain. While communicating with her friends and family is very important to Amy, she also acknowledges that she doesn't need to be constantly on her phone, especially when she's completing her homework. To utilize negative reinforcement, Amy decides to remove the source of her distraction, her phone. When she sits down at her desk, Amy puts her phone on Do Not Disturb and makes a conscious effort to put her phone in her backpack and zip it closed so she won't be tempted to check it. By removing her phone from her immediate environment, Amy has increased her likelihood of completing her schoolwork. In the beginning, it was hard for Amy to not be tempted to take her phone out of her bag. However, after repeating this process, eventually, Amy learned how to not get distracted by her phone and would leave it in her bag until she finished her work. Tracy, you guessed it, is also a first-year student in the OTD program at BU. After an exciting gap year backpacking around Europe, learning a new language, and volunteering in a pediatric sensory clinic, Tracy was ready to dive into the occupational therapy world and learn more about the profession she is passionate about. After 6 weeks, things are really starting to pick up with classwork. And Tracy's beginning to realize that between school, a part-time job as a research assistant, meeting new friends, maintaining relationships with those already in her life, going to the gym, and simply managing the time and care involved with being a functional adult, things are getting to be a lot. Tracy's realizing that she needs to balance her time better and figure out her priorities. She's no longer able to take long hot girl walks to the crepiteria in France every morning.
3 days later.
Leah.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Well, not great. I have 5 assignments for class, a presentation, 2 midterms next week. My PI for my lab wants me to complete this assignment. I don't even have to email somebody. I don't even know who I'm talking to. I have to call my sister, do laundry, go grocery shopping. I really just don't even know where to begin.
Have you considered creating maybe a token economy system for yourself?
What's that?
So, token economy is based off the principles of applied behavioral analysis and focuses on visually representing your progress in meeting your goals and maintaining desired behaviors. So, you could create a checklist of all the things you need to do between work, school, and everyday life. That way, when you complete something, you can check it off and reward yourself with a treat. This will allow you to self-monitor your obligations between and stay on track with your goals.
Huh. Okay, I'll give it a try.
Book and made a checklist of everything she needed to do in the next 3 days. Motivated to check something off her list, Tracy did her laundry, cleaned up the kitchen, called her sister, and went to a cafe to complete 3 assignments for school. So she could then come home and check these things off. The day after, she had completed 10 things off her list and was able to reward herself by getting boba from her favorite place.